Good afternoon. I am joined today by Jim Loffler of Loffler Companies up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. How are you doing today, Jim?
I'm having a great day so far, and I've been looking forward to chatting with you. It's been a tough couple of weeks, but things are moving along, and we're strong, and we're doing the best we can given what we've got to deal with.
So you guys are you're at 18 locations in 6 states. How are your people doing? How's your family? First of all, how are your people doing? How are the communities that you're in? I think you're maybe a little bit behind where we are today up in Western New York, where, you know, it sort of seems to be moving its way east and west, depending on which coast you're on. So how are things in your part of the world, and how are all the people doing?
Yeah, I think when we watch the news and we see what's going on in New York, it's, very traumatic. But we're really not there yet. I think our states really pulled together and are really trying to limit our contact with one another. And I know our company, we responded quickly. And, 3 weeks ago today, I was traveling to one of our branches and watching the news and watching what was going on. And I just sent a message to the executive team saying, we got to get everybody out of this building, out of our offices as quickly as possible. We told our salespeople, anybody with a laptop, to come in, get the essential things that you need, and go home and set up your office. By the end of the next week, we had most of our people that could work from home out of the office in 1 week. And so the team really pulled together, and we were able to get out. So far, for what we know, we don't have any cases in Loffler of the virus.
Well, let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah, well, obviously it's not going to, but just really grateful for how our team has responded so quickly.
So are most of your people working at home at this point? Your offices are open. You're essential to, you're one of the businesses that gets to stay open, really, or mandated to stay open, really. Are most of your people at home now? What's the split look like of who's actually coming in and who's working remotely?
Yeah, I mean, there's some people that simply can't work from home, but you have warehouse people. We're doing shipping. We have service people that need to go out. But even that, we're doing from home as much as possible. We're triaging. We've set up a laboratory, and our people respond first by phone call. One, to make sure that it can't be fixed and resolved until a better time, and then we ask the question of the customer: is there anything that's going to put our employee at risk or put the customer at risk? So we're very careful about sending our people into harm's way. So our team is working. I'd say we're probably 80%. Remote at this point, and everybody's pulling together quite well. In terms of being home, the family's doing great, and one thing just to reflect on is that we're all going to look back at this point in time in our life with wonder and with horror, but we're able to be with our loved ones. We're able to just kind of unplug, well, not unplug, but we're together more.
Yeah.
And so I've really cherished that time over the last couple of weeks with my wife, and I don't know how she feels about it, but I feel pretty good about it.
I feel the exact same way. It's a treat, right? Just to have that, a little more quality time and a little, some fewer distractions of things that may have, gotten in the way of just the day-to-day sharing with your loved ones that are around you. You notice more now that you're stuck around at the house. Yeah. You're probably doing it around the house too.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, it's a good reflection on our world.
Yeah.
Our world was just fighting and bickering at each other, and it's just everything goes at such a pace. Yeah. And I'm hopeful that when this is all over, and we look back on this, is that we really are together in all this, and there's more important things than fighting the daily fight. So
yeah, we'll see how long it lasts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, you mentioned in your last response, the technicians. So obviously they're the ones really on the front lines. They're the ones going into all the customers who are open, but specifically the critical customers like hospitals, healthcare, first responders, things like that. But, you did mention they are potentially getting into harm's way. So what are you doing to, help protect these people as they go in, the technicians and the service people? Masks or gloves or wipe downs, or are there certain things? You mentioned you're calling ahead to make sure that it's safe before they get there, which is awesome. What else are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of those things that we're doing, to keep them safe. The biggest thing is our calls are down about 50%. From where they were. That's probably going to go down a little bit more. And then, of course, we're triaging more. And so with healthcare, emergency services, government, all of those lab workers, they need our systems. They need our support. With our IT managed services business, these companies need to work remotely, securely. And so we're very well staffed. But again, it's safety first. They're calling the customer ahead of time, making sure that we can't resolve it immediately or over the phone. If it means maybe shipping a part and having them do it, sometimes we might do that depending on the location. And just, again, making sure the machines, they've got gloves on, that they have masks on, that they're wiping the machines down. Before and after, and just common basic things that the CDC recommends. So
excellent.
Yeah.
As far as
just by the way too, and I just lifting up our healthcare workers, our police departments, our emergency services, our lab workers, our government, the people working in grocery stores. I just want to do an enormous shout out to those people. They're literally putting their lives on the line, and just pray. Let's all pray. Let's pray for their safety.
Absolutely, they are the ones keeping us all from completely losing our minds, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for real, all of them. It's been great to see. So, and for a company like you to help them focus on what they do and keep themselves running. You mentioned print is down. Are there other areas of your business that seem to be taken off a little bit right now with some of the increased usage in IT right now, the shift to everybody moving at home? What has the impact been, and just what are you seeing from your customers that's maybe a little bit different than it was a month ago, other than the print volume? Yeah,
good question. About a third of our business is IT managed services, and that business is actually very, very busy right now. We're actually ahead of plan. And so I think those types of services during this unique time is one that is really a necessity, and people are moving forward. Now that might change over the next couple of months. We think that's going to remain strong, but I think a lot of it has been getting people up and running, getting them remote, and those types of things. So that's very strong. We have a pretty significant facilities management business. We have about 170 employees in that business, and that is tied directly to the customer. So if you have a law firm with 5 employees there, or if you have a corporation with 17 employees there, they might be looking to pare those down, given their industry. And so we're seeing some effect in that, not as dramatic, but the imaging business, both service is probably the quickest, just as far as activity, but people need our stuff, and leases are coming due. And so there's great opportunity out there. There's great opportunity to be a help to your customer. We're calling our customers. We're asking them how they're doing. We're finding ways to maybe help them extend their payments out for 90 days, 120 days to get them through this cash flow situation, because some of them are literally dead in the water.
Yeah,
and we know it's
probably right. I mean, they're closed. Yeah.
I remember during the last the economy back in 2008, I had a customer, and their business, big commercial real estate company, that literally filed bankruptcy. Everybody was coming in to take out their equipment and everything, and I had dealt with them for 30 years, and everybody's saying we're leaving, they're taking their stuff. I just said, time out. We're going to leave that equipment in there. We don't know if we're going to get paid or not, but you've been a great customer of ours. We're going to stand behind you. And people don't forget that. Yeah. When you stand behind them like that. So we want to be with them during tough times.
Well, it's certainly a risk on your end to do something like that, but what's the alternative? They're not going to pay you anyway if they go away. So, if you can just stick it out and maybe suck it up on your end another month or two and help them get it back on their feet, then, you help the customer through a tough time and you build some loyalty, and hopefully they're there for the next, 10, 20 years or however long you can keep them.
Absolutely.
You sell some premium brands. You sell some very strong brands, well-known brands. And, you mentioned some of the things you're doing for your customers in extending terms and some of the leniency, flexibility you've been showing. Have you had the same experience from your vendors? Have any of your vendors stepped up that, offered you some help in this situation? Have they been in contact with you? How have your vendors been with in terms of support?
I think they're doing good. They're fighting the same battle we're fighting, and they're not a bank, but I think they're all, working with us to help us get through it. So we are seeing some terms if we need them, and being flexible on a lot of different things. So they've been terrific to work with, and we're partners. We need each other, and I think us working together the best that we can is definitely the way to get us through the end of this thing.
Well, you guys are certainly one of the biggest office technology dealers in the Midwest, if not the country. I really appreciate you taking the time out of what must be a very busy schedule and dressing up, of course, just for me. I really appreciate that. I busting out the blazer. I'm getting dressed up a lot more in my home office than I ever used to now that we're in this new era. Just because people are seeing me all day long. So it's actually been kind of nice. It's been, it gets me out of bed a little earlier. It gets me motivated a little to, not be wearing the same grubby clothes for 5 days in a row.
Well, it's a good point. And one of the things that we had a Zoom meeting with our entire sales force, and I told them, I said, working from home is working from home. And you wouldn't show up at your customer's office with bed hair, peanut butter on your face, and Zubas on.
Exactly.
And so that's why I did a clip-on tie here today for our meeting.
I love it.
To try to make that point to all of the professionals that are serving our customers remotely, that when we show up on Zoom and we look professional, it does set a different standard.
Well, again, I really appreciate this as we wrap up and say goodbye. I'll check in with you in a few weeks or a month or so, and we'll just see. Hopefully, we're making some nice progress here. But as we wrap up, anything last words you want to say to Team Loffler or all your customers out there in the Midwest and everybody else in the industry?
Well, the one word of hope is that I'm an old guy, and so with an old guy, I've seen a lot of things, and I've been through recessions in the 70s, 2 in the 80s, early 90s, 9/11, 2008. I've seen a lot of them. This one that we're in right now is very unique and going to be very challenging. But at the end of the day, we will come out of this. And when we're at the bottom of this thing, it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel, but the light at the end of the tunnel will come. So to our employees who are having to make sacrifices, to our customers, to our industry, stay strong, and God bless you. And one final thing I'd like to just say to Andy and your team is that we really, really enjoy and look forward to the communications to keep us abreast of what's going on in this industry. It's a place we can go to and we can get the information we need in a snapshot. And we really appreciate what you do and your associates do to support us and our industry.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. That was very nice of you. I love covering this industry. You know, my dad was, brought me up in it, and I've been hearing the names of some of these people since I was about 6 years old at the dinner table. So, you know, I love it. We'll see what my kids do following up behind me, and maybe I can get them to pitch in here with what I'm doing on the media side. But, you know, you keep doing what you do, and thanks again so much for stopping by and for all your kind words, and bless you. Thank you so much.
Stay strong and God bless.
You too, my man. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.